Summer is peaking. Heat, humidity, thunderstorms, the threat for flash flooding, tropical depression Chantal right now. You see that here over the mid-Atlantic. That's what's left of the tropical storm. Now a depression. You've got a cold front here from Maine all the way down towards the Ohio Valley. You've got a system diving here into the plains with severe weather, flooding ongoing in central Texas, where more than 80 people have lost their lives around central Texas from the catastrophic flooding that's going on right now from the leftover remnants of Barry. So a lot to get to in the forecast here. Take a look at the country, show you what is going on. And here it is. Heat and humidity in the northeast. That is popping up right here. You see all these brighter colors. That is the heat advisory, widespread. New England, the northeast. Here's what's left of Chantal, now a tropical depression that is pushing up to the north, okay? Here's the flooding going on in Texas, and down here in the high plains is where you're going to have a severe threat. You got, obviously, this time of the year, a lot in the way of heat out towards the desert southwest, okay? Heat also Pacific Northwest, so a lot going on here right now. Let's fly in and take a look at things in a little more detail. So up to the north of Maine, and I'll get into more detail for my followers in Maine in a second, but this is going to be heavy rain right now, ongoing in Canada, but eventually some of this is going to sag to the south, much like yesterday, and there will be an opportunity for severe thunderstorms. Bangor got hit yesterday with a passing thunderstorm, and there was a shelf cloud. That's a supercell thunderstorm that came through with some wind. It took down some limbs and lines, right? So here it is. This over here, this from Augusta down to Lowell, Saratoga Springs, Utica, Syracuse, that is going to be from the heat where the cold front will not make it down to the south today. Okay, so you've got thunderstorms north and heat to the south. Now, south of that is where you have Tropical Depression Chantal, which is putting rain up in Virginia and Delmarva, and where you have north of that heat and humidity where the storm has not made it yet in New Jersey and Philadelphia, right? So this is where the tropical storm, now depression, is going to bring a very localized flash flooding threat today into tomorrow as it pushes north and east and gets absorbed by that cold front. Now down in Texas, as I mentioned, more than 80 people confirmed to have lost their life from the devastating catastrophic flooding right around central Texas, where the leftover remnants there of Barry are continuing to just drop feet of rainfall, right? Up to the north in the high plains, you have severe weather, a threat today. South Dakota, Nebraska, a level 3 out of 5 threat. Tornadoes, wind, hail, all in the forecast. That's all coming up. National Hurricane Center for Chantal. You see it here as of the 5 o'clock in the morning update before it weakens down to a post-tropical right over Virginia. That system is going to head to the north, localized flash flooding for basically the Delmarva region, D.C., into the afternoon today and this evening time. See that here on the surface analysis. I'll zoom in and show you that in more detail. There is the center of the storm right now, just crossing over the border into Virginia. The storm does have rainfall. Really, though, the bigger story with this is that this storm is bringing up a tremendous amount of the dew points, the measure of moisture in the atmosphere, which is right now running in the mid-70s and even some upper 70s for dew points. That's a dew point of 79. That's almost 80 degrees for a dew point. So that is air you can wear in the Carolinas and Virginia. It is right into the soup, okay? And that's about as humid as it gets for early July. Here is the front now coming through the Katahdin region of Maine, back towards the Ohio Valley, okay? And this front here eventually will head south and bring some relief from the heat in Maine down into southern New England in the next couple of days. But first, it has to take some time to get down here. Right now, there's not a lot of forcing with it. Eventually, the high pressure will come in, but it's going to take some time. So it's going to take another 24 to 36 hours. Now, you can see Chantal moving up, getting absorbed by that front, okay? It's going to basically lose all of its tropical characteristics, get absorbed, and fall apart and then pretty much turn into nothing, right? Here's the system out in the high plains coming through. See that low pressure system that's going to bring that severe weather for them, level 3 out of 5, right? So the Storm Prediction Center has that very large level 3 threat here. South Dakota, Nebraska, okay, big time level 3. There will be a threat for tornadoes, for wind damage, for hail, big chunk of the high plains. Then also here you have that front. Here's the front with the level 1, so it's a low threat, but even a low threat, a level 1 threat, as we saw in Maine yesterday, okay, down east, can bring down limbs and lines. It only takes one storm. Okay, not everyone's going to see it, but there is a threat here. I'll show the wind threat first for today before I show a tornado threat. So it's only a 5% threat, but it doesn't take a lot to cause damage. And the greatest risk from this is if you are in your car and a tree falls on you, or you're out walking in the dog, or a limb falls. That is how people lose their lives most than anything else from thunderstorm wind. Now, obviously, here there's a much greater and wider threat. You have a hatched area, okay, over towards South Dakota, Nebraska. Got to really watch out there. A lot in the way of wind coming from that system here in July. I don't typically see a lot of this in July, but it does happen from time to time. Tornado threat here in Nebraska. You see a 5%, okay, threat there, northwest corner there of Nebraska. So watch out for severe weather. Now, I want to transition and show Maine in more detail for my loyal followers in Maine and show you the thunderstorm threat. So really, this is 4 or 5 o'clock. It's up in the county, up in the Allagash, okay? But then by 5 o'clock here, this is when 5, 6 o'clock, this is where I want to stop it. You start to see here around the Katahdin region and north, okay, north of Lincoln, north of Millinocket, you start to see these cells pop up. These would be supercells, okay? These are the ones that showed that shelf cloud yesterday coming through Maine, and those push east towards Holton at 6 o'clock. Now, this is a model. It's a guide. It's not going to happen exactly this way, but you do have some supercells out ahead of the cold front, okay? So watch out. Those are the ones that are going to have that damaging wind 50 to 65 miles an hour, especially around Holton. You get rounds of it, okay? This is now midnight tonight, and notice by then all the reds are gone, okay? The storms really fall apart. They weaken, they lose the daytime heating, lose the energy. But it's going to be very humid overnight in southern Maine, down east Maine, dew points in the 70s here, and then during the day Tuesday here, there's a line that makes it down to Eastport. I don't have a lot of faith of that making it to the coastline, but really what this shows me more than anything else is the front is now making its way south just a little bit on Tuesday, okay? But it's going to take some time, okay, for that front to get down. And then here, I'll stop it here. This is 5 o'clock tomorrow. There is a cluster of showers and thunderstorms around Augusta and just south, north of Portland, right? And that is not exactly what's going to happen. What that shows me is the front and the trigger mechanism for the storms has made it farther south. That's what that shows me. So you dry out up in the county, Katahdin region, but the storms make it down to the south by that time. Not everyone's going to see this. The atmosphere right now is prime because it's so hot, it's so humid, okay? It doesn't take a lot to trigger these showers and thunderstorms, but they will be popping up, and it only takes one to go over a highly populated area before you have problems, before there is a threat for property damage, there is a threat to human life. So be very careful and don't cancel your plans, but make sure if a warning is issued, you are checking out. If the sky gets dark, it's a good time, if you hear thunder especially, to go indoors, okay? And watch out for the lightning too. It will feel like near 100 degrees in a good chunk of Maine today with a severe wind gust threat and a cold front moving from north to south, okay? So it's going to take some time. If you're in Kittery today and tomorrow, it's going to take a long time for it to cool down. If you're up in Caribou, it's going to cool off a lot sooner. So let's do the mountains first, 85. Now, this is a split forecast between the western mountains and up in the northern mountains, right? So up in the county, up in the north woods, Katahdin region north, you're going to cool off. You're not going to quite get to the 85 range, okay, you're going to cool off and dry out sooner. But in the western mountains, it's going to take a lot longer, okay? It's not going to be until really Wednesday, a leftover shower, mostly on the dry side, and then a few pop-ups Thursday and Friday before the weekend. We dry out for the most part, and then get back to typical summertime heat and humidity for the middle of July next week. Now, inland, this is generally an average of the state, but mostly around the Augusta region, mostly around the Capital District, okay? So 90, 76, 77. You'll notice there the front coming down from north to south, so you go from 90s to 70s, okay? But today it will be very hot and humid for sure. And then we clear out, a lot of clouds around to end the week, but then for the weekend, partly cloudy, around 80, very typical. This is the hottest time of the year on average in Maine. Typical high is 80, so this is very much typical. Today is going to be above typical, above the averages, but still, it is going to be the hottest time of the year. 84, 82, so the southern coast, no thunderstorms today. It won't be until tomorrow. Down east, though, has an opportunity. The mid-coast, I don't expect a lot of activity from the thunderstorms today either. Really, it's going to be the down east coastline is the best shot, best opportunity. And then everyone gets in on it on Tuesday. It'll be scattered, not going to be statewide, okay? And especially like the southern part of the state, if I'm being more descriptive. So the northern part of the state, okay, it's a tough forecast. You got to split the state up. So the northern part today, central part today, and then tomorrow it's more of a southern Maine, mid-coast, and even a portion of down east in the morning, right? It's all because of that front coming down from from the north to the south. So that's the forecast. Now, next week, we're back to typical heat and humidity, what you'd expect this time of the year in Maine.